Hello, welcome back to another Bright Lights moment. We're going to finish that walk through Proverbs we started last week. We have a couple more characters to look at today. Last week we looked at the foolish versus the wise, the wicked versus the righteous, and the slothful or sluggard versus the diligent. So, to pick up where we left off, today we're going to look at the froward versus the prudent. Definition of froward: perverse, fraud, they depart or turn aside from the right way. They're twisted, distorted in their behaviors and attitudes. They're false and crooked. Proverbs 6 explains, a naughty person, a wicked man, walketh with a froward mouth. He winketh with his eyes, he speaketh with his feet, he teacheth with his fingers. Frowardness is in his heart. He deviseth mischief continually, he soweth discord. He's out to destroy the people around him. Proverbs 16:28 says, a froward man soweth strife, and a whisperer separateth chief friends. Not a good friend to have, a froward man. Now the other character, the opposite, is prudent. A prudent person. Definition is cunning, crafty, subtle. They understand, they distinguish between right and wrong, good and evil. They're intelligent, they regard counsel, that means they listen to it. They're wise and circumspect. That's the second time we've mentioned the word circumspect in this walk. That means to be straight on the line, to toe the line, and be exact in following the rules and instructions. Proverbs 15:5 says, a fool despiseth his father's instruction, but he that regardeth reproof is prudent. Proverbs 22:3 tells us that a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. A prudent man is not going to put himself in a situation where it will destroy his life or the people around him. Now the last characters we're going to look at today is the strange woman and the virtuous woman. Strange in this sense means profane, adulterous. It has a connotation of turning aside, as into a lodging that doesn't belong to you. Foreign, non-relative, as in they're not related to you, and outlandish. Proverbs chapter 7, if you're familiar with this chapter, is the story of a strange woman enticing a young man to be immoral with her. And it's told by a father to his son as a warning, telling him to beware of the strange woman. I'm just going to read you a couple verses from there. He says to his son at the beginning, say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman, that they may keep thee from the strange woman, from the stranger which flattereth with her words. And then in the middle of the story he begins to describe the character of this woman. He says, and behold, there met him, the young man, a woman with the attire of an harlot, and subtle of heart. She is loud and stubborn. Her feet abide not in her house. Then again later he adds more. With her much fair speech she caused him to yield. With the flattering of her lips she forced him. Now hear the end of this type of a person. Her house is the way to hell, going down to the chambers of death. Proverbs 2 verses 16 through 17 adds more about her. To deliver thee from the strange woman, even from the stranger which flattereth with her words, which forsaketh the guide of her youth, and forgetteth the covenant of her God. Now on the other hand, we have the virtuous woman. Virtuous means a force, an army, wealth, valor, strength, and worthy. A virtuous person is strong, morally, spiritually, and physically. Proverbs 12:4 says, a virtuous woman is a crown to her husband, but she that maketh ashamed is as rottenness in his bones. Proverbs 31 is a more famous passage of a virtuous woman. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. And again, interestingly, it mentions her husband. The heart of her husband does safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. And here's some character traits she has. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. There is one more pair which I would love to introduce you to, but I'm going to leave you the opportunity to look them up. This is the rich and the poor. Did you see a glimpse of yourself anywhere in these characters? Did you like what you saw, or did it concern you? You might say, I don't want to be a foolish person, but some of those traits you described, they kind of fitted me. What should I do? First of all, take time to study out that character you find that you're exhibiting. In this case, look up the words fool, fools, foolish in the concordance and read the scriptures on them in the book of Proverbs. Gain a burden for God's opinion of that character and why God hates them. Also learn how that character hurts the people around him, and learn the end that God has for a person with that kind of character. Secondly, study the opposite character. So the opposite of a fool is a wise person. Look up the words wise and wisdom in the concordance and read those verses in Proverbs. Learn about the similar characters. We also call those synonyms. Prudence, understanding, knowledge, righteous, upright, those are other people in Proverbs. Then begin praying and working toward a change of character. You can do this by memorizing those verses you looked up and posting them around your house. You can also find an accountability partner to help you out with that. And then finally, take note of your companions, your friends, and even your contacts. What characters are they? God tells us that we will share the same fate as the fools if we hang out with them. And he says we'll become like the angry man if we spend time with him. Be willing to lose yourself and your friends to become more like Christ. It will be hard, but in the end, you will not regret the decision to change. Thanks for joining me on another walk through Proverbs. I'll hope to see you next time.